Bonaducci, and you are watching Gov's Radio. This is where you go if you want to see something or if you want to hear something funny. Coming up in just a couple minutes, this is a joke I told. What? I'm not on Gov Radio? Call the police. Call my agent.
Tony, welcome to Go.
Hey, Joe, how are you?
I gotta pat you down though, pal.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Got anything on you? Anything I should know?
I got nothing.
Anything weird going on?
What?
Alright, you go in, Tony. Good.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Tom Kelly of The Tom Kelly Show. Yes, this is not the only time I've gotten on my knees in the back room of a comedy club.
The Knock 'em Dead Comedy Radio Show is also brought to you by Two Eagles Auto Body. For more than 25 years, Two Eagles Auto Body has been the leader in auto body repairs and customer satisfaction on Long Island. Two Eagles Auto Body handles every type of auto repair, from custom applications and restorations to repairs involving insurance claims. Give Two Eagles Auto Body a call and please ask for John Rossi at 516-328-2527. That's 516-328-2527.
Hey, how do you say there, people? It's Johnny Brennan, creator of the Jerky Boys, also of Fox TV's Family Guy fame. I just want to let you know you're listening to Tony on the Knock 'em Dead radio show. They're gonna keep knocking 'em dead, so keep listening, you wacky sons of bitch. Right there. Over and out there, sweet Charlie.
Long time no see, man. Hey, man, I miss you guys, man, at Knock 'em Dead Comedy Radio.
I just want to say thanks for making my millennium. Oh my gosh. Well, it's a love fest.
Yeah, you heard that story.
Yeah.
So I guess, should I tell it again?
Oh, yeah, if you want. I mean, yeah.
You know, you guys are into comedy. Does it really help when somebody gives the punchline?
Thank you so much. Tony Walker in the house.
Yeah, he's the only one screaming, but I like him. He's good. Yes, Tony Walker. I like Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker's really good. Tony Walker's all right, too.
Thank you so much. Tony Walker in the house.
Tony, I love you.
Tony's got half of us. Some say that it's made of glass. He fell on it one August day, broke his ass in many ways. Humpty Dumpty had a fall. Tony Walker was the wall. Had an issue with his leg. Now he thinks he's egg. He ate an egg. My friend Tony Walker. I'll punch you right in the freaking eye. Not you, Tony. I can never punch you because I love you too much. I can't punch somebody like you. And you can't even run after me. It's not even a fair fight. It's not even fair. All right? Tough guy? Tony, you're a phony baloney. I'm gonna cry. Tony, you're the best. You're hysterical.
We are here, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. Back after a week and a half, 2 weeks. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Knock 'em Dead Comedy Show. Coming at you live on Gov's Comedy Club Podcast, the Facebook page, the YouTube channel. I do have to tell you, if you're watching on Facebook, we do appreciate it very much. However, if you'd like to be part of the show, want to see your comments read, want to be a part of the show and say hi to everybody. Hi, everybody. Please do so on the YouTube feed, because that is where we monitor the comments on the YouTube feed. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. Wherever you're watching from, it's much appreciated because we need all the support we can get. Please tell everybody you know about all the great shows on Gov's Comedy Club Podcast. Share the link. That's where I was going. No matter where you're watching from, share the link on all your socials. Tell everybody you know about all the great shows here on Gov's Comedy Club Podcast. Between starting today and for the next week or so, all of our shows are returning. Coffee with the Dog, which has been on every day. Conversations with Don Sill is on tomorrow night. Peter Sports Bash with Peter Schwartz returns this afternoon. Primal Scream with Nick Greystone tonight. Chris Roach on Tuesday. Hershey and the Keegs on Tuesday. Steve Squared this Monday. Circling the Drain on Wednesdays, and I hope I didn't leave anybody out. Recipe for Laughter returns next Thursday. Lots of great stuff going on here, and we appreciate you guys being here. Good to see you. Forgive me if I'm a little rusty. It is my first day back. They suck. It is our first day back. I just got in here around 9:30, trying to get myself reassociated with everything and trying to get myself back in the swing of it. It's amazing how quickly you lose your routine when you're out just doing better things. No, I'm kidding. I love what I do here, and I love you guys, and I appreciate you all being back here. It's good. It really is. It's good to be back. It's good to be back. I have missed you all. I've heard from some of you, many of you, while I was gone. It was nice to hear from you. Feeling the love, that's for sure. Definitely feeling the love. And we got a great show. This is such a great show to come back with. We have legendary Long Island DJ Bob Buchmann. I believe he's joining us at 11:30. I do believe that's when we're going to see him on Zoom. Bob Buchmann was on Long Island radio for over 20 years, probably closer to 30. Then he went to New York City for a while, but we could still hear him here on Long Island. But legendary DJ. And then he moved out to California and was doing California radio for a while, but he's been on Sirius XM for several years now, so we can hear him back here in New York. Just a legendary guy, involved in a lot of historic moments in the world of music and comedy, and just a super, super guy. I've had the pleasure of knowing Bob for a while, but not terribly well. My brother knows him kind of well, and he was one that set this up. Frank, who you guys know, is usually in here on Thursdays for our Music Thursdays. Unfortunately, Frank will not be with us today. He was scheduled to be here, but last weekend, this past Saturday, I believe it was, his mother-in-law passed away. It's his mother-in-law. I mean, he's not married, but he's engaged. So it's his fiance's mother. It's just easier to say mother-in-law. She passed away last Saturday, and the wake is today, funeral tomorrow. So, so he's not going to be here. So all of our best to Frank and Tammy. Hope they're doing okay. But Bob will still be joining us, and we're going to have a lot of fun talking to Bob. Lots to talk about. When I used to do, I've talked about it on here before, I used to do that dancing at the indoor lacrosse games back in the 90s at Nassau Coliseum. Bob Buchmann used to host the halftime show there. He would introduce the kick line that I would, imitate, and he would, host games and stuff. So he got to know me through that. I don't know if he knows me by name. I've met him other times, and I do think he knows me now as Frank's brother. I don't know if he realizes that I'm the same guy that used to dance at the lacrosse games. So that's going to be one of my first questions when he joins us. So I believe that's at 11:30. I'm going to get to your comments in a second. Good to see everybody. I just want to get through these announcements. So all the best to Frank. And a big happy birthday to our one and only Diane, our Tuesday co-host, the lovely and talented Diane Fogarty McCardle. It is her birthday today. Happy birthday, Diane. I hope Anthony spoils you rotten. Hope you have a great day. And looking forward to seeing you on Tuesday. It's been 2 weeks since I've seen you, which is too long, damn it. So happy birthday to Diane. Another announcement I like to make, I like to congratulate two people. Rob White, who you guys, he's been in here. He's the one, Don has had him on his show. Rob White is the tattoo artist. When Don had the tattoo of his brother made, Rob is the one who made the tattoo. Very talented tattoo artist and a great comedian. He does, a lot of local shows and plays governors regularly. He was recent. If you guys are familiar with Kill Tony, it's a show, has nothing to do with me, even though it's Kill Tony. We've talked about it many times on this show, but if you're not familiar, it's basically it's almost like an open mic, but you have some established comedians right there on the stage, and they kind of rate you and tell you, if you were good or bad. That's a very basic description of the show, but the show has really taken off in the last few years. I think it's only been on for a few years, but it's really taken off. And last August, they started, they had a show at Madison Square Garden. And basically, anybody can go, you buy tickets, and you put your name in a hat, basically. And if they call your name, you get to come up on stage and do a minute of your act, and then they interview you. And, it's a great way of getting some exposure and networking, meeting some great comedians. So they did it last August, and I guess it's an annual thing now because they just did it a few weeks ago. So congratulations to Rob White. He was not on at the Garden, but he did make an appearance on Kill Tony a week or two ago. They did not. I love Rob White, and Rob White is the tattoo artist with Mike Kaplan. We're going to get Rob. We called him on the air a few weeks ago, and we didn't get him, but we're going to get Rob White because Mike has that Yankees tattoo on his arm. We're going to get Rob to change it to a Mets because Mike has jumped ship because he's pussy whipped, and he's going to he's now a Met fan because his girlfriend's a Met fan. So we're going to get Rob White to change the tattoo. Rob White's experience on Kill Tony it did not exactly go as planned. He did not get a good reception, but we do love Rob White here, and we'll keep him. Kill Tony's loss, we'll keep him here. But it's still, in my opinion, you got on it, and you were seen, and you got exposure. So that, to me, it's a win-win. But now Allison Persky, she's been in here a little bit on on the Green Room show. She's been in. She plays, the Giggle Room regularly, and she gets around, comedy wise. Sorry, I just realized what I said. Very nice woman, funny comedian. She got up on the Madison Square Garden stage, and she did very well. So congratulations to her. That's a huge step, a huge boost for her. So congratulations, Allison, for a job well done on Kill Tony. So so lots of cool stuff happening. I think that was all the announcements I had. All right, so let's read some comments. Let's see how everybody's doing here. It's been a weird month, right? We weren't on the first 2 weeks of August because the club was shut down. The whole building was shut down. The Giggle Room is open. The club is still not open. That's great. I thought for sure I'd come back to business as usual. But yeah, so we were off the first 2 weeks of August because of that. Then we came back for a week. And then I was on vacation for a week and a half until yesterday. All right. Oh, there he is. Bob Buchmann is here, ladies and gentlemen. Bob, give me 2 seconds. I gotta just adjust some camera stuff here, and then we'll have you on here. All right, let me do that real quick.
It's all good, Tony. Happy to wait.
All right, cool. What did you? All right, let's see, and boom, there he is. Bob Buchmann is here, ladies and gentlemen. This is a big thrill. Real quick, John Russo, I see you're calling. Let me talk to Bob. This is much more important than you. So I'm going to talk to Bob, and then John, I'll call you towards the end of the show when we're done. Bob, did you get up this morning? You didn't get up just for this, did you?
You want me to lie? No, I am an asshole. I basically get up this early every day because most of the Sirius XM people work on the East Coast. So, and that's as a New Yorker, you know what I mean? I want to be part of the New York action, so I got to get up, at some ass backwards time in the Pacific.
Well, I like your thinking because you should. You're needed in New York. We miss you terribly. We were thrilled that you made it onto Sirius XM so that we can hear you again. And you and I like that you call yourself a New Yorker, even though you left us. But
you know what? And I'll tell you what, Tony. If I could not get in an airplane and return to New York 4 or 5 times a year, I wouldn't live here in beautiful San Diego. I would have to move back. But because I can, I'm never leaving this friggin' place. It's great. We get palm trees and I got the Pacific Ocean, and so I mean, and I come back to Long Island and to New York City and there's the beautiful Long Island Sound and the Atlantic, and I couldn't be happier.
You do. It does kind of ooze out of you on Facebook and social media. It does seem like you're having a blast out there.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, it's great. It's
good for
great.
you. Yeah.
My wife and I live here in Oceanside, and it's the wrong Oceanside. It's not Nassau County.
Well put.
It's either the wrong or the right Oceanside. I haven't figured that out. But but at least we don't live in Los Angeles, which has some beautiful parts and some not so beautiful parts.
Right.
I will say this, politically correct or not, I will say that in terms of big cities, New York is a far better big city than the one that is just to the north of me here in San Diego.
Yep.
Los Angeles is, it's hit or miss, whereas New York is mostly, one hit after the next.
I agree 100%. I was just this is my first day back. I've been off for a week and a half. I just went to Memphis and then to Florida, and I had a blast. In fact, I'm wearing a Beale Street shirt from Memphis.
That's great.
I loved it.
Nice.
Loved it. But I will tell you, for a week and a half being gone, you do you see the different way of life, the different routines, the different cultures, and I don't think I could ever leave here. And they can get and we can all say it as we get older. It's not the same as it used to be, and it was better, but I still freaking love it. I don't think I could handle it anywhere else. I just love it. Love Long Island. Love New York. There's really no place better.
That's great. My father always had that very same opinion.
Yeah.
And then he turned 70-something, and he's like, I'm getting the hell out of here and going to Florida like the rest of Long Island. my mother always my parents honeymooned in Florida, and then my mother's like, we got to move back here, and my father's like, I'll never leave Long Island. What, are you out of your mind?
Yeah.
And when he turned 70 something, he's like, yeah, I'm gone.
But even that though, we don't get the weather. I mean, I don't think it snowed at all last winter. We don't.
Yeah.
It's not as bad. I mean, there's still other reasons, and I get it, high taxes, whatever, blah blah blah. But
well, there's high taxes everywhere.
Exactly.
Florida's becoming ridiculous. Also,
I just had a conversation about that with somebody last week.
Tony, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Forgive me. So, are you in the governor's Levittown building?
Yes. Yes, that's exactly where I am.
Incredible.
Yes,
that's incredible.
This is kind of like a dream gig right here. Yeah, it's a podcast studio in the back.
Yeah.
I'm like 5 feet away from the dumpsters. That's how important this room is. It's maybe the size of maybe 2 bathrooms. It's a very small. It holds maybe. If we have 10 people in here, it starts to get crowded. It's a very small room, but we have cameras, we have microphones, graphics, the whole works. And
what was the name? What was the name of the owner again? I forget his name.
Well, there's a few, but you have James. You're probably thinking. Jimmy, yes, Jimmy still runs the club. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So Jimmy is the guy I know. So I used to host Wednesday nights at Governor's
yes.
for years.
Yes.
And the room you're in could well be the room that I spoke with Jimmy many, many times, and I don't really know, but
right.
But I hosted a bunch of I hosted Wednesday nights, and I loved every second of it.
Right.
The time I was the most frightened was when the improv group was down a man.
Okay.
And they're like, Bob, get in here.
Oh,
You're
wow.
doing improv. Oh, so that's thinking on your feet fast.
Absolutely.
Because
right.
it's improv and anybody can throw anything at you. And these were seasoned comedians. And here's me. but I did okay.
Yeah.
I did okay.
Are you so the improv? I mean, well, first off, Wednesday nights. But you're going back to the mid?
I'm going back to the 90s.
The 90s. Okay.
At the 90s. Yeah. The early 90s.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think. Back then you're probably talking about guys like Adam Ferrara, Kevin James, like guys like that were hanging around the club back at that point.
No. I love Kevin.
Yeah.
And of course, Adam. I never had those brushes with greatness there.
Okay.
And I remember I did have some brushes with greatness before I ever got to Governor's when we did some things with Billy Joel in Huntington.
Right.
In the East Side Comedy Club. Is that still a place or no more?
No, long gone. Richie Minervini.
He's in Florida now.
He's in Florida, still traveling a lot. He was just up here, I think, a month ago. I saw him, but East Side is long gone. Yeah.
So in the early '80s, I did quite a bit at the East Side Comedy Club, but including a lot with not only Billy Joel but with the Stanley Cup champion New York Islanders.
Yes.
And many brushes with greatness. Some of those early comedians. Oh, who were they? Not Kevin and I mean
Joey Cola probably.
Well, certainly Joey.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And he
Joey.
hosted Wednesdays, I think, just a little bit before you.
Wow. That was at Governor's.
Yep.
Okay. No. I mean, these were like big movie stars.
Well, Eddie Murphy started here at Governor's.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He did. I'm trying to remember who, but man, it was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you
right
had
there.
in the early days, going back to the early '80s. You're talking now. I know, and I believe me, I have a whole list of questions to talk about with you and things to talk about Billy Joel, of course. But I know you credit Imus a lot for getting you started. So back in the early '80s, Rob Bartlett, who was a huge part of Imus's show, he was a big part of Governor's and East Side and a lot of those early comedy clubs.
I love him. He's fabulous. Yeah.
Still is fabulous. Amazing. Amazing.
No, that's great.
The improv abilities. Nobody has the abilities that man has. He's just incredible. And Jackie the Joke Man would start with him back then too.
I have to tell you about Jackie the Joke Man. So it was at Governor's. So Jackie, as you know, if you go way back, you have to be old like me. Jackie had this phone line,
right
before cell phones.
That's still around, by the way.
922 Wine, WINE.
Still going.
And so he was a name. He was funny, and we would call, on BAB back in the early 80s.
Right.
We would call him, I don't know, several times a week, maybe more, maybe every day.
Yeah.
I guess every day. We'd call him for the joke of the day.
Right.
Anyway, it was, but so before any of those on-air phone calls happened, he was performing at Governor's.
Right.
And I was at Governor's with a former afternoon guy at BAB named Perry Stone.
Oh, sure.
And the three of us, me, Perry, and Jackie, took a photo at Governor's when we announced to the crowd, guess what, guys? Jackie 922 Wine Martling is going to start a daily feature on WBAB. We started him on radio, and we made the announcement at Governor's. So then came the daily phone calls. It was great. It was great. It was great. And then a year later, boy, was I pissed off, and unfairly so, when Howard Stern stole him from me. He got to Howard via me, but I wasn't paying him jack shit. And Howard, of course, had a nice salary.
Right.
So I was so mad, and this is how immature I was. I have a problem sleeping at night. I didn't go to Jackie and Nancy's wedding.
Oh, wow.
Because I was that pissed off.
Yeah.
And I loved Nancy.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
And so what an idiot I was. Anyway,
I can
love
understand
Jackie
it.
now, and we but in the radio wars, like
Right.
Howard was this unknown superpower at the time, and I was like, at the time where he was an up and coming superpower, and I was gonna try and block him every way I could in the early 80s,
Right.
because he was so fabulous, and I didn't want him to blow up our radio station.
Right.
So yeah, I felt the Jackie thing was a slight, and I was pissed at Jackie, but my mistake.
No, I get it. I get it. And it actually does bother me now because I've never heard that. And that story should be out there more. That he
kind of. That's why I wanted to tell you. Because Tony, it should be out there more.
It should be.
Jackie started at BAB.
Wow.
And then went to K-Rock in New York from BAB.
But I wanted, and that was actually what I have here. That was going to be my kind of introduction with you, because it's funny that you mentioned Stern, because back in the 80s when he was starting to pop, you were, doing the mornings at BAB. I always felt it, first off, and I did. Who didn't love Howard? He broke ground. He did things nobody was doing. But over there at BAB, you were doing what you were doing, and you were always classy. You didn't go to Stern was funny, but it definitely was a lower bar. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing. It's just a fact.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were.
No, we were more of a community thing.
Yes.
And because you earlier, Tony mentioned Don Imus, so I would go Imus dirty, but I wouldn't go Stern dirty.
Right.
Right. We did all the crazy shit, like crank calls and
right.
and off color jokes. In fact, some of the jokes we told back then, you could get arrested for telling today.
Yes,
in
absolutely
today's
right.
world.
Absolutely
but yes, Howard was definitely more crude and in a beautiful way.
And then you had all these zoo morning shows. In fact, again, going to Florida last week, they're still doing shows like that down there. And I'm listening to, I'm like, what in the world? I couldn't believe it. I was floored that these guys, they're Stern poor man impersonations. You did the crank calls, the jokes of the day, but you still never went to that level. You still never tried to copy Stern. You still just kind of stayed your course, and it worked. And like you said, a total community feel. People loved you. They loved you and Tracy. Sam and the other people that you had later on, and then of course bringing Tracy back. But you just held your ground. You didn't panic and say, I got to be more like Stern. You just did your show, and it was classy. It was a community feel. It was very Long Island, and because, like you said, you did a lot with Billy Joel. You spent a lot of time, making appearances and doing charitable work. You had your club, which kind of made you accessible, so it made people feel like they were part of your community. We all felt like we knew you. And that's, I don't know, that's not really around anymore. So I give you a lot of credit, which is why I jokingly say we miss you, but at the same time I'm not joking. We do. We miss you here. There's nobody like you here. There's not.
Well, thank you. That's very kind. It's very kind. And the truth is, that it was as good for me as it was for everybody else.
Sure.
We really built something together. We were together, all of us. I forget how many listeners BAB had. 500,000.
Sure.
So it was like 500,000 people that were all together for 20 years.
Right.
And I have to say, thankfully, the guys that I hired at BAB are still on the air today, doing largely what is a community radio show. Funny as hell, Roger and JP.
Right.
I hired JP as a van driver, and Roger I hired as an overnight jock. Funny story about Roger. So I was training him to do his first air shift, and we were at IHOP having breakfast, and so I wrote the format on the back of an IHOP napkin.
Oh, wow.
And on his first show, he took it into the studio on the back of an IHOP napkin. But, the deep songs that we encouraged our jocks to play for flavor versus the very popular songs, well, I gave him the correct ratio. He reversed the ratio. So on his first show, nobody knew what the hell he was playing. It was all deep, crazy stuff, and he played maybe one or two hits.
Wow.
And all because maybe there was, pancake syrup on that napkin. I don't know. But,
that's very funny.
Yeah, but Roger's a star. JP is a star.
Yeah.
And that show is 25, 26 years now. I was there 20, and that was amazing.
Yeah.
They're 25.
Well,
it's amazing.
And Roger, even before that, I mean, he's been on, you talk about his first show. That was what, mid to late 80s, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I think it was mid 80s.
Yeah. Wow.
Sure.
That's crazy to me. Crazy. Yeah. All right. Well, the big question, we're name dropping, talking about all these people. Now, I know the connection of getting you on here was through my brother, and you knew my brother. He used to, play your club a little bit.
Yeah. But please tell Frank I said hello.
I will do. Will do. Thank you. He was supposed to be here. His fiance's mother had passed away, and the wake is today, so that's why he's not here. So, all the best to them. But the big question, do you remember me?
So I do, Tony. I'm just trying to remember how.
All right, I'm going to tell you, and I don't know if this is good or bad, Bob. If I told you that I was dancing on the aisles at Nassau Coliseum during the high school kick lines, would that tell you who I am?
Let me think. Hang on. Nassau Coliseum high school kick lines. It does not. No.
Dancing Tony at the New York Saints games.
Oh God! Wow. I remember that.
I figured you would. Yeah, we did that for years.
I remember you by that name, and the Saints were huge for us.
Right.
And you were part of that popular culture. That's great.
I did feel bad. But it was too much fun.
That's great. No. That's great. Those were great times.
Those were great times, and the Saints were a decent team, so they were getting good turnouts. So that was a good time. That was.
No. I mean, there were so many eras of the Nassau Coliseum.
Yeah.
And when we started at BAB, 79 was the start year.
Right.
But the 80s were the power. That was the powerful decade. That was the decade we cemented all 500,000 listeners who are still there today.
Yeah.
And the Coliseum was really, I mean, a remarkable place in those days. It was our own local Madison Square Garden.
Right.
The Islanders were a Stanley Cup champion team. Well, for the first half of the decade.
Right.
Like there was a plaque in the back that Styx gave the Coliseum for breaking. It was. No, maybe the Coliseum gave it to Styx and it was a copy, but it was the fact that Styx, for the Grand Illusion album, broke Nassau Coliseum attendance records, the biggest capacity crowd ever, 19,200, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But so it was a building that really, the shows that went through that building were amazing.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I mean we can do a show just on that.
Sure.
It's so much history, and that was the beauty of. Excuse me. That was the beauty of BAB. I mean, with you there, it just kind of went hand in hand almost.
Yeah.
And talking about Roger with playing songs that nobody knew. I mean, it was almost you, BAB, but it was most more particularly you that the homegrown stuff and Zebra. You were the one that kind of showed us who Zebra is.
Yeah. No, I was dating this girl. She was wonderful. And it's really on her. And I've told her that. And I've told Zebra that. I was like, she said, you really got to check out Zebra. So I'm like, oh, really? And so, as much of a hero as I may be, it really happened because of her. Now, because I followed trends, I followed Long Island club going trends, I probably would have figured that out eventually on my own.
Sure.
But she's the one who said, no, you have to see Zebra. And yeah, I mean, it didn't take long, these clubs back in the day, as you remember, they were very huge. Hammerheads would hold almost 3,000 people.
Right.
In fact, when the fire marshal wasn't looking, it held a lot more than 3,000. And, Zebra would be doing 2,000-3,000 people. And like, oh my God, how could we not try and figure out what that was?
Right.
And it was three guys who, at first, it was three guys who played Zeppelin better than Zeppelin.
Absolutely right. Yep.
And then, we got to learn very quickly about their originals, and their originals had a life of their own, and we got the master tapes. We started playing them on the air. And, long story short, Atlantic heard them on the air, literally. The president of Atlantic lived on the North Shore of Long Island, and one day he was driving home and heard this band that his people told him about, but nobody was serious enough to sign them. Like, okay, all right. Then he heard them on the air on a major radio station, and he's like, wow. He called me that night from his car.
Wow.
This is like, I must have been a rich guy because he had a cell phone nobody else did.
Yeah, right.
And said, wow, Zebra on the radio? Tell me more. And so that's how they got signed.
Is that Ahmet Ertegun?
It's not Ahmet. It's Doug Morris.
Oh, okay.
So Ahmet was the big Led Zeppelin guy, and the here. I mean, the Atlantic was such an amazing company.
Oh yeah.
In terms of, but Ahmet was the guy, and then there was Tunj, and then there was Doug, and Doug was literally the guy who pulled the trigger and said, "Yeah, you guys are signed."
Wow, very nice. Yeah, and that's what I mean. That's the kind of stuff that I miss personally from radio. Things like homegrown. That's not really. I mean, these days with the internet, you can find anything, but you have to know about it to find it.
Right, and that's a great point, Tony. That nobody. I mean, that small point is really a huge point, and that is, everybody has a record label today. Everybody in the world. I mean, there are millions and millions and millions of uploads every day.
Right.
And so what you said is the magic. How do you find it? You don't. It's a sea of everything.
Right.
So these great artists get lost.
Exactly.
Back in the day, of course, radio was the way to communicate new music to people. There were only so many radio stations, so everybody was more focused on the same thing. There wasn't that crazy sea of of sound.
Right. It's a weird thing to me today. You have everybody has access to anything all over the world through the power of the internet, or even this podcast. I mean, it's the internet, but because everybody's doing it though, so you kind of get lost. Just like podcasts, there's so many people doing it now,
right?
That you don't know where to look, who to find, or what to watch because it's almost too much.
Yeah, it's true, and I'm glad you mentioned podcasting. The thing about the thing that differs between podcasting and music is there's just a lot more music than there is podcasting. There's a lot more music being uploaded every day than there are podcasts. But and
still the same idea though. Yeah,
there are some huge. Yes, it is, of course. Thankfully, there are some big companies. My former company, iHeart, and my present company, SiriusXM, who are uber serious about podcasts, and they have the two companies have a tremendous distribution. So that really helps podcasts get noticed. When the big guns are behind you.
Right. Well, right. Of course. Yeah. Because, you compare it to, maybe the 50s when, the idea was to get a record deal. Same thing, to get the big powers to back it. It's almost the same idea now. It's just different, but it's the same mindset.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Because a lot of people would say, it was harder then, but no, it's really, to me, it's almost the same thing.
Yeah. No. It's, I actually, if you ask, and we're always being asked that question. It's an unfair question, but it has to be asked, and you're right. I think, when was it harder? It's harder today. It's harder for the kids today than it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
It's harder because of that sea of traffic. There's so much out there.
I miss the days of just popping a flyer on a laundromat window.
Right. Remember? We would flyer cars. We would do, whether we were in the nightclub business, whether we were in the radio business, we'd flyer car windshield wipers.
Right.
Of course, the very famous WBAB bumper sticker, right?
I still have a bunch of them.
Yeah, of course, right? But there are no bumpers anymore, so nobody puts bumper stickers on their cars anymore.
Right.
And flyers, that used to be a great way to communicate stuff. Today, it gets lost in the sea of nothingness.
That used to be an event. If you saw that BAB van, you would almost turn around and stop what you're doing because you figured, all right, they have tickets to something. Let me go get them.
No, it's true.
Oh,
it's true. We built that image up for the van because it was true. We loaded that thing up. We hired drivers.
Right.
And the drivers became celebrities unto themselves.
Right. Yes. Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And they would then announce on the air where they can be found. Every spring, I would listen for that because, they're down in Massapequa. They're giving away tickets for this season's Jones Beach. What did I win? I think I won Who tickets from BAB once. And I won Robert Plant, Jimmy Page tickets from you guys once.
That's so great.
Those are the days, man.
Yeah, that's great. That's great stuff. Great memories.
And even this, and I don't know if this is even something you can get into. Being that you're on Sirius, like contractually, you're okay with showing up on something like this?
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Sirius is awesome. It's a national platform. Sirius is. I learned so much after joining this company.
Really?
And it's so huge. It's like we have almost 34 million paid subscribers.
Wow.
And twice a year we light up all the unpaid radios also. And when we do that, we have about 150 million listeners for the 2 weeks or 3 weeks that we do it.
All right, can you explain that? You light up meaning that you let them go on your airwaves? Is that what that means?
No, it means that the cars who have Sirius XM radios, but the people who own the cars don't subscribe.
Oh, okay. So you can hear
twice a year. We give them free service for like 2-3 weeks.
Got it. Okay.
Just so that they can get a taste of what we do.
Sure.
And oh man, I gotta subscribe. This is so good.
Absolutely.
And the company is incredible. I mean, I guess we have 150 music channels that are, we have about 100 music channels on satellite, and then another couple hundred music channels off satellite on the SiriusXM app. And then we have 100 talk stations on satellite.
Right.
So I mean, there's everything you could ever want. How many types of jazz do you want to hear? How
Right.
many types of classical? We have a Broadway channel. We have, I mean, it's insane. Rock channels. We have, I mean, I run all the classic rock channels.
Right.
We must have more than 10 of those, more than 10 classic rock channels, and they're all different, marketedly different from each other.
All right, let me ask you
great.
this then, in regards to classic rock, not to be a downer, but I did just read an article that the classic rock stations are not, what they used to be on Sirius or on satellite in general.
Interesting. Well, satellite. There's only one satellite company. It's ours.
Oh, okay. So
it's
Sirius
definitely a
XM.
monopoly.
Okay. Right.
It's a legal. We own it.
Yeah.
We own the whole thing. We have 100% of the universe.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's
100%
Governors
of
on
the
Long
satellite
Island.
universe.
Governors on Long Island. There are no more comedy clubs. There's 3 of them. They're all owned by governors.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, cement boots on. I'm kidding. But yeah, they do. They own. There's 3 of them, and they're all governors clubs. Yeah, they have the monopoly.
That's good. Well,
yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
Governors is awesome.
Oh, they're the best. But yeah, I did read an article about that. So, like, what do you have any worries? Do you feel now? All right, maybe it's dipped a little bit because of age or target audience, but it's still thriving.
I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the company and its overall performance in terms of growing subscribers.
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
It's not the classic rock. The classic rock part of the company is huge.
Right.
I'll tell you about that in a second. But,
okay.
So no, Sirius. There's so many factors. COVID really hurt the new car production, and that time period in the early 2020s. We get a lot of new subscribers based on new car sales.
Right.
And when the new cars aren't selling, it was a supply chain issue. That's what the COVID tie-in was.
Sure.
And so the new cars weren't being sold. So we weren't getting as many trialers. This isn't really my area of expertise. I'm not a corporate guy, but
Thank
that's
God for that.
essentially one of the big problems. And the second thing is the economy is a little tough.
Right.
You're paying for radio. And as great as this radio is, it's so different and, in my opinion, so much better than FM offerings. If you're gonna spend the money in the grocery store versus the radio, you're gonna spend the money in the grocery store. You got to eat.
Right.
So those things have brought our growth level to about 0. We aren't growing, and we like to grow. Every year we like to get bigger. So that's what you're reading about. And the chairwoman, the woman who runs this thing, the CEO, she's dealing with this, and she's pulling out all the stops and it's pretty impressive what she's doing to wake everybody up and think, oh my God, this is really a must-have service.
Right.
And
Yes.
the price point is so reasonable. But just to wrap the other side of that with classic rock, as huge as as BAB is and was, and as huge as the station that I went to after Q104 in New York. Q104 is the biggest classic rock FM station in the world.
Right.
They have a weekly listenership of just under 3 million. Each of my classic rock channels at Sirius XM has a weekly audience over 10 million.
Wow.
So each of the channels is 3 times the size of Q104.
Okay. Yeah.
So that shows you the hugeness. And right now, Classic Rewind, which is one of the classic rock channels,
Sure.
it's the biggest, the most listened to weekly, based on weekly listeners, it's the most listened to channel on the entire platform.
Wow.
So we're number 1 out of all these hundreds of other channels.
And I appreciate your honesty with that. I didn't mean to put you on the spot with that.
No.
I wasn't.
I'm glad you said it, because there's all this bad press out there about, the stock and all that. And
Right.
It's like, it's an amazing company, and we're just flat right now, and we are on target to grow.
Which, of course, I mean, that's almost a no-brainer because you guys do it right, and the stations are great. So I didn't mean to. The quality is not the issue, So I just wanted to make that be clear on that.
Of course,
but
no, not at all.
So thank you for that. When it comes to satellite, though, do you have? Do you have the freedom to do something like a homegrown?
So that's a great question.
Thank you.
So we create stuff all the time, and it's out of the box stuff.
Right.
Homegrown. I'll give you an example of homegrown. It wouldn't be for me, but it would be like we have an indie channel.
Okay. There you go.
So it could be on our indie channel, and
Right.
it is often. There are all these unsigned bands.
Sure, right. So it's actually kind of better because now you have a whole channel of it. You can listen to it as much as you want, as opposed to once a day when you played it. If you missed it, you missed it.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
what I do, no, but the platform is so diverse that yes.
Yeah.
And like, but in terms of like just doing stuff that isn't just a host back announcing the same, Led Zeppelin record every day.
Right.
We change things up. Like
Yes, you do.
today, today on Classic Rewind, we have Wolf Van Halen guest hosting a show for Mark Goodman. Yesterday, it was 38 Special did it because
Cool.
Mark Goodman's on vacation.
Right.
Tuesday, I had the entire band from Foreigner. They hosted. Tomorrow, 3 to 7 on Rewind, it's Brian Adams as the guest host. So we have a lot of artist partnerships.
That's cool.
And so it's so great. And they really are partnerships.
Right.
Like we have the Beatles channel, believe it or not. And I don't have anything to do with that. I have a little to do with it, but not much.
Right.
We are actually partners with the Beatles. Like we don't do anything without asking, the folks at Apple if it's okay.
Right.
That there are partnerships. We have a U2 channel, and we are partnered with Ireland for that. I mean, so it's a really incredible company.
Right.
I'm so impressed. I'm so glad I work here.
Yeah, and well, that's the beauty of it's things like that bring people to it, obviously, and you can tell that there's partnerships because especially I'm a Beatle freak, so there's always an exclusive, or there's always Paul just you hear a snippet of him saying something, or Ringo, like you can just tell that there's partnerships because especially the Beatles, they you can't do anything without.
That's the holy grail. It's
right.
true. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then of course, and again, especially if you were on Long Island in the 80s and 90s, we would hear you, and it just seemed like if Billy Joel wanted to do something on the radio, you were the guy.
Yeah, that was nice. That was a nice
great.
relationship.
Oh,
yeah.
that
was wonderful.
And
A great friendship.
And that was obvious. I mean, you guys would play those sound checks of his, which I love that stuff. I would get so excited.
Right.
I still have the recordings at home somewhere. You guys broadcasting the sound checks, and there was one in particular. He starts singing about you. You're hosting it, and you're probably, who knows, probably 100 feet away from him, wherever. But he's working on the sound check, and all of a sudden, I'm sure it was a surprise to you. Like all of a sudden, he's singing to you.
There's
cool
a lot
stuff.
of surprises with Billy Joel. Like I don't know if you saw this HBO documentary.
I was going to ask your thoughts on it. Yeah.
But it was amazing.
Yes.
And he basically told the director, do what you want. He didn't want any creative control over it. He wanted it to be objective.
Right.
But I was shocked that I was in that.
Right.
All of a sudden, there's a picture of me on BAB talking about Billy Joel, and it's like, oh my God. My phone started to blow up. I'm like, I had no idea. So yeah, I get surprised all the time.
And what was it? There was it Matter of Trust? Are you in that video? The music video? Piano Man, you're in one of them.
I'm not in any of them.
Yes, you are.
I tell you, I'm surprised all the time. I might be, but
you're in the Yankee Stadium home video.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. Just for a second.
Yeah.
And I started actually. I think I'm the first couple words in that.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Video. Yeah.
I would swear.
Yeah, I remember he called me and said, I'm sending a film crew down because we're doing a film on Yankee Stadium. We want to get you talking about it. I'm like, okay, send them down.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're not going to turn that down.
No.
And how'd you get him involved in the whole Charity Begins at Home? You know, every
Well,
year
this is
you
a
do
great
that.
story, actually. Listen
Yeah.
to this. So
Okay.
this is we started the conversation half hour ago about radio wars,
Right.
and it was at the time we were talking about Howard. When I got this job in 1979 out of college, literally I walked from college next day to BAB. It was a great story. It was luck and timing. And the first radio, Howard didn't exist at the time,
Right.
not locally. And so the big station at the time, 1979, was LIR,
Right.
92.7, which was a lot of Southern rock at the time. And before they became new wave a couple of years later, they were mostly Southern rock tinged. And Billy Joel was on their softball team.
Right.
And
yes, I remember.
So I get this job and I'm like, how am I going to make noise with BAB? Nobody listened to BAB. Nobody.
Wow.
BAB had a 0.9 share when I got the job.
Wow.
And so how can we make some noise with this little Tinker Toy? And I thought, well, got to get Billy Joel somehow involved. And, how am I gonna, he's so married to LIR. What am I going to do? And then I heard that not me, he had started a charity called Charity Begins at Home.
Oh, okay.
So I called either his wife or his brother-in-law and said, I want to help raise funds for his charity. And that was 1980. It took me a year to get that done, 6 months. And that's how the marathon started that year.
Yeah.
And so that's how it happened. Yeah.
And so you didn't know each other.
29 marathons, 29. We didn't know each other, no.
But it seems like, a nice friendship blossomed from that because, again, it just seemed like he did everything on BAB.
Yeah. I mean, the very first marathon was a failure, and I'll tell you why. It certainly was a foundation that paved the way for big success in year 2 through 29. We did 29 marathons. But the first one was a failure because it was in December of 1980. And you know what happened in December of 1980? John Lennon died while Billy and I were on the air.
Oh, no kidding.
While we were on the air. And so all fundraising stopped at that moment.
Wow.
All
I
fundraising
never heard
stopped.
this. So so what happened? So you're live on the air and then somebody came in and told you?
Well, we have to, we're on the air. We have to know what's going on in the world. So,
Yeah, sure.
We have a teletype, at the time, Associated Press, whatever that was.
Right.
Oh my God, it's unthinkable.
Yeah.
Unthinkable. And so, and Billy is a huge Lennon fan.
Yes, he is.
As close as he is now to Paul McCartney, he was a John Lennon fan.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Nylon Curtain has Lennon all over that thing.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Wow. I've never heard that story. I never heard the audio. So you actually broke the news to the Long Island, Long Islanders at the time.
With him. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And of all people to be with, wow.
Yeah. It was unbelievable.
That's got to be one of those unforgettable moments, right?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
That is crazy. What is?
And that was the first time I ever. It was like the first or second time I ever met him, but definitely the first time he was ever on the air with us.
Jeez, what a way to start! I'm surprised he came back.
I know.
Wow.
Who's gonna die this time? Oh my God!
Exactly.
I think we're a hoax. We're a jinx. But no, it's.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great 29 years. We had an executive director, God rest her soul, Louise, she worked for no money. And of course, I was the fundraiser. I worked for no money.
Yeah.
And Billy just, we made a lot of money, millions and millions for charity.
Sure. Yeah, which is great stuff. Yeah, and that became a staple too, an annual staple. Eventually, you guys went to in between Christmas and New Year's, where you would just do the charity
we
marathon.
Did. That's right. I think that's true. We came. We yes, we did. That's what we did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It became an annual
marathon,
part of our lives.
Yeah, our first marathon the year John died was early December.
Right.
But then we thought, this is crazy. Everyone's Christmas shopping, and they're busy and they're distracted, and
not spending money on charities, spending money on gifts.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that was actually very capitalistic of you to say that. And that was exactly what we thought. So we're like, you know what? After they've gotten their Christmas presents, before New Year's, but after Christmas, in that little pocket. And that's when the marathons happened.
Yeah. Great stuff. And what do you think? Are we getting a full blown Billy Joel concert again?
I hope so.
Sure.
He definitely wants to do it, but he won't risk his health.
Of course.
Nor should he.
Right.
But he wants to.
Yeah.
I heard, was it Mark Rivera, his sax guy? Somebody was saying, maybe it wasn't Mark. I forget who it was. But they were saying he wants to do it. Ken Dashow had him on the air at Q104.
Right.
Might have been Mark. He wants to do it, but he's not going to do it if he can't.
Right. And like you said, why should he? He's if it never happens, the guy gave so much. Right? That's how I see it. So,
exactly right.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
But yeah, I'll tell you, in my opinion, I've always associated Billy Joel, with you. Just BAB became his home play. Again, before internet, you wanted to hear directly from the man, without going, say, to a magazine or something. You went to BAB.
That's nice. Nice of you to say. So that my little plan of how to defeat WLIR, it worked.
That's very funny.
And it's such a shame it has to be that way. Here I am giving away that very corporate secret, that very capitalistic secret. I mean, but if you're going to look, you have to think in a multifaceted way. If you don't have a huge radio station, the charity, when you go to the telephones, isn't going to make a lot of money.
Exactly.
So everything works hand in hand. BAB had to be successful for Billy Joel's charity to be successful.
Sure.
So it all worked out. I mean, and we did, literally I think we forced LIR out of that rock format into the new wave format because it was part of what became so successful with new rock and old rock at BAB.
That's what I was going to say. It worked out for everybody in the end. There's room for everybody. They had their, they blew up with the whole new wave alternative thing.
They did, of course.
So,
they championed that, and God bless them.
Right. So
Dennis McNamara is a real hero.
Absolutely right.
Yep.
So basically, then, we have you to credit for Jackie going astern and you starting LIR. Basically, is what we're saying.
Starting BAB.
No, LIR because they
starting LIR. That's funny.
So we need a Bob Buchmann Netflix special. We need the documentary. Well, you are in the Long Island Music Hall of Fame, which that must be a pinch me feeling, right?
It's a wonderful thing. When I had one of my bars, we used to meet there. I was on the planning committee. I was actually on the board of directors for the first, until I left Long Island, we planned it together. And it was wonderful of them, without me even knowing, to be inducted into the, it was really wonderful. It's that's cool. It's a real thrill.
Absolutely, and well deserved. Do you now? And be totally honest, how are we doing with time? Are you good?
We're out of time. I see the time. It's 9 o'clock, which is 12 o'clock your time.
Yeah.
I got to move on to the next thing. But I could talk to you all day, Tony. What a pleasure.
Absolutely. This was a huge pleasure for me. Again, I feel like I grew up with you, and you were such a big part of Long Island, and when I was in my 20s and 30s. So this was a big thrill, and Bob, I would love to do it again sometime if that's all right with you.
That's great. It
Okay.
would be my pleasure, Tony.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Real quick, is there anything you want to plug or anything you want to push before
Sirius
we say
XM, listen to it. Sirius XM, subscribe to it.
Okay, good enough.
No, I mean we're doing great, and it is such a thrill to be a part of this company. That I honestly, I feel so lucky, completely lucky. I have had nothing but good luck. I mean, obviously we all have a lot of bad luck, and I've had some bad moments, of course, many,
Sure.
like everybody else. But my career has been just one lucky moment after the next. Just to wrap, if you don't mind, another minute.
Of course, take your time.
The BAB getting hired at 22 years old, walking out of college, that's luck and timing.
Yes.
Because if BAB hadn't been sold to a new guy, I would have never said, your radio station, you just bought this. It sucks. You bought something that sucks, but it's got such potential. Hire me. If it was if the ownership hadn't changed, I would have never been able to say that.
Right.
I would have gotten thrown out of the meeting. He would have said, "What are you telling me my baby's ugly for?" But that luck and timing, and then Q104. They brought in a general manager at BAB that was a bit of a nightmare, and that was the 20-year mark, coincidentally for me. And I was like, you know what? I called Q104, and I said, "Are you still looking for a program director?" And they said, "Yes." What are the chances of that?
Right.
Luck and timing. When I was done with Q104, KLOS was there in Los Angeles for me. And when KLOS changed format, changed ownership, the iHeart guys in New York said, "Well, come back to iHeart and run KGB in San Diego for us." And so, I helped the management there. I didn't actually run the channel. I just did mornings and kind of helped the managers. And then when that job ended, because they ran out of money 7 years later,
Yep.
Sirius XM built a brand new building in Los Angeles and needed somebody to go in there and help them with classic rock. Luck and timing. You can have all the talent and experience in the world, but if you don't also have luck and timing, it's wasted. So I am so lucky, and so lucky to have the job I have right now.
Well, and it has a lot to do with talent as well, and
Of course it does.
Yeah, because you've been a fantastic host no matter where you've been, and we were
Thank you.
lucky. Talk about luck. We were lucky here on Long Island to have you, and like I said in the beginning, it was a thrill to get you back. Through Sirius, that we can hear you here again.
That's so nice. Thank
absolutely. And again, this was an absolute pleasure, and I didn't even get to half the stuff I was going to ask you about. So
next time we'll do
absolutely.
It some other time.
Sounds
All right.
good. Thank you,
later.
Bob. We'll see you soon. Oh, he's already gone. Wow, he couldn't wait to get out of here. Okay. All right. So a big thanks to Bob Buchmann. Wow, he was gone in a heartbeat. A big thanks to Bob Buchmann for hanging out with us today. That was very cool. Hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. All right, I did. All right, so at the beginning, before Bob came on, excuse me, I did promise to read comments, and I promised to call John Rusciello. So I'm gonna read the comments first, and then I'm gonna call John. I'm going right back to the beginning here. Crack the champagne cork. Welcome back. Thank you, Ann. Good to see you. And of course, she's talking to John. Kent Pichelle was watching. I hope he still is. He says, "Good morning." Good. Thank you for joining, Kent Pichelle. Thanks for tuning in. The music's still playing. Yes, I know, John. That was part of my intro. I was playing the music. Kent Pichelle. It's the button on the right. Fremder's there. Maybe Bob Buchmann could let us know why Joe Rock is still a what? A cock. I know when he mentioned Opie Anthony, not Opie Anthony, Roger and JP, and even Jackie. Like, I'm not going to sit here and badmouth people anymore. So I just let him have his say. Sending prayers to Frank and family. Thank you, Ann. Very nice of you. Bob Buchmann wasn't there when I worked for BAB, but I know him, and he's a good dude. Yeah, Bob Buchmann, first time I ever met him was at BAB. I was hanging out over there for something. Always a class act. Always a good guy. There's some other great people were there at the time. There are some who weren't, but I still love the place. Your bald head sitting on that couch, you guys look like Newton's cradle. I don't know what Newton's cradle is. And I probably should, and you're all probably about to make fun of me. But I'm going to show you this. This is what Ann's talking about. Boom. Bunch of bongos. 4 bald heads sitting on a couch. That was from my trip last week to Florida. Let's see. So you got on the end there with the glasses, that's David Clark. You guys know David Clark. He's been on this show many times. Next to him, our pal Elio, who's been on the show almost as much as I have. And next to him is a gentleman named Matt Harnick. He's from the Philadelphia area. He's in the realtor business. He's just a great dude. He's done some audio-video work as well. Just a great dude. Really nice guy. And he's been a part of our circle for a long time. And then, of course, that's me on the end. Matt also has a podcast called what is it? Unlock the key unlocked. Oh shit, that's bad of me. I'm gonna look it up real quick. But there's let's see, and then I'm just gonna quickly show you another picture. Let's see. There's us, the 4 bald heads again with Elio's Amy, the lovely Amy Rhiannon Worth. We had such a great time last week. The whole vacation was great. I did miss you guys, and I appreciated all the nice words you guys had to say while I was when I was getting ready to leave and while I was gone. But it was a well-needed break, and it was just a blast. Beale Street was amazing. Forgive me, I brought those few pictures in because I wanted to show them to Bob. That was my goal. But I thought he was staying the whole show, which is fine that he didn't. The Keychain, there it is. Matt Harnick has a podcast called The Keychain. Go check that out. He is going to come on our show soon. We're trying to figure out a date. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I didn't bring a lot of footage from the vacation. I'm going to do that. I'll do that soon. I knew we'd have Bob today, and then we have Rosie is back tomorrow. Tom Galati is coming in tomorrow as well. So we're going to be busy on Labor Day, Monday show. Greg Halverson will be here. Mario and Franco from the Oven are going to be here. I believe Don Sill will be here as well. No Jeff this Monday. But we're hoping to get Fat Jay in here. Silvio might be in here as well. So we're working on it. So I don't know. So maybe sometime next week I'll bring some footage in from the vacation. But it was just a great time. If you've never been to Memphis and Beale Street, if you're a music fan like I am, you would absolutely love that place. And then, and of course, Florida is Florida. Where was I with comments? Ann says, good morning, Bob. From the random thought, on a Thursday before we don't get comments read, the sexual preference, if you don't like men or women, it's called buy yourself. Oh, my goodness. Ann says, Oceanside is beautiful. San Diego is 1,000 times better than New York, says John Rusiello. John Rusiello, that makes me want to smack. Joke writing on a Thursday. I couldn't figure out what to wear. My premature ejaculation meeting. So I just came in my pants. Fremder's here. People tell me I'm not funny, so I might take a class on improv. You are funny, Fremder says, and anything to improve, go for it. All right, Fremder's got a couple of long ones here, a couple of long comments. Let me. All right. I used to bring the BAB vans to get. You know what? I don't know why I'm having trouble seeing this stuff today. These comments. Let me put my glasses on. Hang on. Okay. I used to bring the BAB van To get washed, not because they needed to look nice, but because the inside was filthier than a groupie's asshole at a Motley Crue tour bus. Yep, that's what I get for not reading it to the end. Another random thought, says from there. Oh, no. How come banks have a pen tied to the table when you need to fill out a withdrawal form? I trust them with all my money, but they don't trust me with a pen. BAB, the station that plays Stairway to Heaven 24/7, says Fremder. Joe Rock, you challenged Joe Rock to a guitar battle. When I met Meatloaf at the station, he wasn't too nice to me. When he died, the world lost 500 pounds, says Fremder. He should have changed the song title to All Wrapped Up, I'll Take It to Go. I heard that Meatloaf was not the nicest of people. What? I don't know. I'm not reading that one, and I don't know what it means. I have a buddy that used to work for Sirius. Whenever we would go under a train track, I couldn't hear him talk. What? Ken Pichelle, we need classic rock to be split to pre and post 1990. Okay, that's interesting. If Tony played guitar in AC/DC, he'd be Angus Beef. All-American Angus Beef, says Ken Pichelle. That's right. Now you're making me hungry. COVID, a time when your asshole was cleaner than your mouth. What the? Ken Pichelle. Oh, he had to go. Okay. Sorry, I'm reading your comments after the fact, but glad you were here, Ken. Thank you. I remember that hot chick in the YouTube video gave me a bono. Oh, Fremder. Great photo. Tony had hair. What photo? I didn't show a photo of me. I showed, let's see, so I showed, let me move me over. Whoops. I showed this photo of Bob Buchmann when he was from his BAB days. And then I showed this picture of, that's Billy Joel with the beard, and that's Bob. He's kind of cropped, hard to see on the end there. But or is Ann making a joke saying that because people tell me all the time I look like Billy Joel? There's Bob and Joel again. Oh, here's one thing I didn't get to. A picture of Bob with Eddie Money. Eddie Money was he was a Long Island guy. He was from right here in Levittown. Eddie Mahoney was his real name. KLOS, and grew up with them. They're the best. Oh, very nice. Do you remember Bob on there? FaZe Ipan says hi. FaizIpan. FaZe Ipan? FaZe Ipan? Well, hi, whoever you are. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. Newton's Cradle is that thing with the silver balls. Oh, okay. Which was funny, Fremder. Yes. Tomorrow, Tony Walker and Rosie Talker, says Fremder. Yes. We love Rosie. Seriously, says Fremder, why can't you read comments right? I don't get it. If you pronounce one letter after another, the words come out properly. What did I read wrong? I thought I was actually doing a nice job. Best podcast host, worst comment reader. No, the photo with you and Bob by a piano. Photo that's the picture with Billy. Right? You talking about this photo? No, that's not. Is it photo of me and Bob by a piano? I don't even see a picture of anybody by a piano. Did I show something? I already forgot what it was. All right. Well, thanks, Ann. So speaking of Billy Joel, we had a great time on the vacation. So I'll tell you a little bit about the vacation. I'm going to tell you mostly about Florida because I did bring photos from Florida. So I'll show this again. I didn't show this. I meant to. That's the Happy Birthday Diane graphic. Again, happy birthday to our Diane. The purpose of going to Florida was to I was gonna do this with Bob as well, but we ran out of time. I was going to tell Bob about Elio. Elio just released this album. So, as you guys know, Elio does a Billy Joel show over there in England, and he has a show called the Billy Joel Songbook. That's the album right there. It's as you guys know, it's not a Billy Joel tribute show. It's just a musician playing the songs of another musician. Elio thinks that Billy Joel is the best singer-songwriter ever. So he's not trying to imitate Billy Joel. He's not trying to get it right note for note on the songs. He's just showcasing, why Billy Joel is the best. And it's not. I don't want to say it's not a concert because it is, but it's a theater concert. It's a theater show. Elio does a lot of talking throughout the show where he explains why. He gives examples as to how a song was written and the structure behind it, and why Billy Joel is, why he feels Billy Joel's the best. So it's a theater show, and but Elio has also done full album shows, meaning he's taken a Billy Joel album and has played it, in its entirety in the same order as the albums. He's done full albums. He's the only person, not even Billy himself, has done album shows. He has not performed every song from every album in his career. Elio Pace is the first one in the whole world to perform all 12 of Billy Joel's albums start to finish. So what he's doing now is he's releasing he's putting out live albums of those full albums. He's not going in order. 52nd Street was the first one Elio put out. That's the Billy Joel album that has My Life and Big Shot and Honesty, Zanzibar, lots of great songs. So now he just released this week Cold Spring Harbor. Cold Spring Harbor was Billy Joel's very first album. All right, first off, go to eliopace.com and buy these albums. They're fantastic. You guys know that, I think Elio's, one of the best there is. Cold Spring Harbor was put out by Billy Joel in 1971. He was young. He needed, he didn't have any money. He was desperate to get out there. He signed a bad deal with, record companies and managers, and, he made no money on this album, and he had no control, no creative input on the album other than to write and perform it. The mixing of the album was incorrect, and it's a whole big story, but and it just didn't come out right. So the album was a total flop. It didn't do anything. It didn't help his career. He didn't make any money. If anything, he owed money. He was in a bad spot. So the album's kind of been forgotten. Once he became a mega star in 1983, some people who own those masters tried to re-release the album, and because there were problems with the final mix of the album, it doesn't really sound right. They tried some bad overdubbing and taking things away. They made some edits, and it's still not, it didn't come out well, and the album did nothing. So Elio now if you want to hear the album done right, nothing against Billy Joel, it was out of his control, but he's never put it out, like he's never redone it. He has an album called Songs in the Attic. It's a live album that he put out in 1981. Basically, the idea behind it was, The Stranger, that was the big album that made him a household name. So anything he put out before that, he just felt was kind of lost because he wasn't known. So Songs in the Attic is a live album, but he took songs that he made prior to The Stranger, and these are songs that he just felt should get some attention. So on that album, you have two songs from Cold Spring Harbor, She's Got Away, which, we all know now, and Everybody Loves You Now. Those two songs are on Cold Spring Harbor. So now you have the opportunity to hear these songs right, in the right keys, and mixed well, and just done properly. So go to eliopace.com and get this album. So the reason we went to Florida, Elio originally, we were talking about, we're always trying to get together and see each other. So one's always, whether I'm flying to England or he's flying here. He was putting out the album, and we were talking about him coming here. He wanted to come here, and he wanted to promote the album. And what he did when he went and performed that album live, he brought with him two guys that were on the album. He brought them over to England, and they did the tour with him. A guitarist named Don Evans, a drummer named Reese Clark. They've been on this show. You've seen them both here on this show. So when the album was done and ready to go out to the world, Elio wanted to come here because he wanted us to hear it. And he wanted to get Don and Reese together to hear it. And so instead of coming here, Elio wanted to go down to Florida to see Reese Clark. Reese, he's a wonderful man. wonderful man, but getting up in age, I don't know how well he travels anymore. I mean, if you ask him, he might have said, "What are you talking about? I'm fine." Who knows? But we just felt it'd be easier for us to go see him. So Elio said, "Hey, instead of me coming to New York, why don't we all meet in Florida?" So me, Elio, Amy, David, and Matt, we went down to Florida, and we're going to go hang out with Reese and play the album for him. So that's what we did. We played him the album. It was the first time we were hearing it. But then if you guys remember I was pushing a few years ago a concert that Elio did here in New York, and they put a live album out. That's Reese in the middle, and that's Don right here. Whoops, where am I going? Right there. That's Don Evans. Remember we did that concert, or they did that concert, but then they put the album out a few years ago, and I was pushing it like crazy on this show. So there's a DVD of that concert as well that Reese has never seen. So we played the album, and we played the video for him for this concert, and he was thrilled. So, it's just a quick trip. I got there Monday morning, and then I left there early yesterday, and it was just cool. We just had a good time. There's me and Amy. Let's see, there's me and Elio, and then here's a cool shot of Elio and Reese holding the album with the original Billy Joel's Cold Spring Harbor album in the background. This place we went to watch the video and listen to the music, it's called Easy Living with Technology. That's the name of the place. It's in Clearwater, Florida. This place was amazing. You can rent the place out, and it just has amazing. It's just an amazing place. They have the latest technology for speakers and electronics, audio and video. They have the latest, and they install. If you want good audio video components in your house and stuff, and businesses, they go around the world and install that stuff. They're an amazing place, and this place was just like walking into like an amazing living room. They had, again, the best equipment, big screen TVs, and they also had a lot of memorabilia hanging around. And this was the one that blew me away. It's pictures of the Beatles, but then in the middle there, which I'll zoom in on, was an autograph of all four Beatles, which, Lennon's been dead for just about 45 years. So this is not easy to get. George Harrison's been dead since 2001. So, this is not an easy thing to get, but that's all four of their autographs. So, it was just a cool place. We just hung out, and these guys treated us like kings. They catered. They had drinks. They had snacks. We were there for 6 hours, just hanging out, listening to music, making phone calls, like just hanging out. It was really just a lot of fun. So that was the trip to Florida. I do have more to talk about, but I'm going to wait for when Jeff is here because I had some issues with the flight, and just some other funny stories. And then I'll save another day to talk about the trip to Memphis because I want to get some video and I took some video and photos and stuff that I want to tell you about. I promised that we'd call John Rusiello back, didn't I? All right, so let me. All right, I see that you guys are commenting. We're running out of time, so let me do that first. Let me call John back first, and then we'll do comments, and then we'll get out of here. Peter Schwartz today at 1:00. Whoops, I screwed up already. Bear with me. Sorry.
Hello?
San Diego better?
Let me tell you something. Why don't you stop with this freaking Long Island? Long Island's a great place, but there's better places to live besides Long Island. I lived in Long Island. I enjoyed it when I was there. It has a lot of downfalls.
I'm going to interrupt you right away. You just proved why you're not considered a Long Islander, and you just proved that you weren't here long enough to judge it. Because
Thank God I'm not considered a Long Islander, because let me tell you something. 90% of the people in Long Island suck.
All right, well,
okay?
I'm going to disagree with that, and
it's a known fact that you have more road rage than any other state or any other area in the city. Okay, the traffic is horrendous. All right, you get on the Long Island Expressway at the wrong day or the wrong hour, you might as well get a ham and cheese sandwich.
And it's also been proven that places like Washington, D.C. and your beloved California has worse traffic than Long Island.
I didn't say California was. I just said San Diego is a beautiful place.
Which is in California.
Okay? Which is in California. I wouldn't move to California. Okay, maybe 20 years ago I would move to California because of Ann's there, but I wouldn't move to California.
Well, we're not talking about where you would move. You said San Diego, which is in California, is better than Long Island.
It is. Well, the weather is better. The ocean's better.
No.
Okay, the beaches are better.
No.
Have you ever been to San Diego?
I've been to San Francisco.
That's like saying you've been to the South Bronx.
That's like saying you've been on Long Island. And notice I said on Long Island, not in Long Island.
I was on Long Island. I owned a house in Long Island. No, I stand corrected. My wife owned a house in Long Island. Okay? But let me tell you something, okay? There's better places. Long Island is good for 4 months a year. That's it.
You're very silly. I just can't take this seriously.
Listen. What's the difference? The bottom line is, I called to tell you that in the beginning of the show, you said that Mike Kaplan is going to change his tattoo from Yankees to Mets.
Right.
All right. I would hold off on that a little bit.
Really?
Because Mike Kaplan was seen at a Yankee game last week.
Is that so?
That is true, yes.
All right. Well, and we will get to the bottom of that. So he's still with Jen, correct?
To the best of my knowledge, you never know. You never know with him.
Yeah, well, right. I figured, maybe he had a new girl, which is why he was going to Yankee games. Maybe he was with another girl that takes him to... Because that's what it all is. It's whatever woman he's with. Whatever his woman he's with at the time, they tell him how to feel, and that's what he does.
Well,
I believe the term is pussy whip.
I am not going to agree or deny. All right, you're usually on target, though, Tony. All right, you're usually right.
Right.
But for lack of getting him all burnt up and all upset, he swears that it wasn't Jen. He swears that he's told you this on the air.
Blah blah blah.
20 years in the making.
He's full of shit. We will get. Let's hold on to this. We will get to the bottom of this on Wednesday.
Okay, sweetheart. All right. Listen, I'm so happy you're back.
Me too.
Your loyal listeners. You made a team chat, and we kept in contact with each other. All right, and you did say that you met Elvis. You saw him twice when you were down there.
That is correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure that
we both got roast beef sandwiches, but then before I even took a bite, he grabbed mine and ate it whole. He ate the whole thing in one shot.
Well, see, you might be Beatles fans, but you're not an Elvis fan. What was Elvis's favorite sandwich?
Oh, I'm a Beatle nut. I do love Elvis. I'm just not as much. I love the Beatles.
Okay, all right. Well, what was his favorite sandwich?
Peanut butter and banana.
Peanut butter and banana on white bread. Very good.
Oh, all right. I'll admit, I didn't know the white bread part. I just knew he loved peanut butter and banana together.
On white bread.
Okay. Very nice.
All right.
I got a lot of. I took almost 500 pictures just in Memphis. So I'm putting some footage together, and I'm gonna. Yeah, I will show it at some point next week. Some point.
I'm dying to see it, and I'm glad you had a great time.
I did. Really had a great time. Thank you very much.
And the Knockers missed you.
And what?
And the Knockers missed you.
And I missed the Knockers. Of course I did. I love Knockers, and I missed them.
Yes. All right. And that's about it. So I just want to say, be careful with getting the tattoo, because you never know, he might change his mind.
All right. Well, we'll get to the bottom of that Wednesday. I will ask him flat out, what's going on with this tattoo, and what are you doing at Yankee games?
Okay, and when are you coming down to Florida on the good coast, so I can see your gorgeous face?
Me and Mr. Skelzy have been discussing it, and trying to figure out a time to get down there. So yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
Excellent. All right.
Cool.
Have a good rest of the day.
You too, pal.
It's time to go.
All right,
you, man.
See ya.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Whoops. Okay, John Rusiello checking in. Okay, I'm going to read some more comments, and then we're going to go. We got Peter Schwartz at 1 o'clock. And, of course, I have to put my glasses back on to see the comments. Okay. Let's see. Where did I leave off here? I saw that one already. The photo. Ann says she does remember Bob. Oh, cool. He really was. He was great here on Long Island. I do miss his show. All right. So she says, the picture wasn't me. So you were serious. I thought maybe you were joking. What picture were we talking about? But no, not. Billy Joel is not that good looking, says John. Fremder, you wouldn't be able to get a word out comment-wise if there were more than 26 letters in the alphabet. Yeah, you're probably right about that. And I was saying to myself, Tony was hot back then, and it wasn't even him. What picture are you looking at, Ann? That's funny. Tony is to Billy Joel as Mike is to Springsteen. I can only imagine that fuckfest. Oh, Fremder. Scott! Hey, hello, Scott. I heard Billy Joel's nickname was BJ on the road. Oh, my goodness. That's going to be Billy Joel's new hit single called... I don't know Elio personally, says Scott, but his pizza is fantastic. Yeah. Tony wouldn't mind a mouth... Oh, my goodness. If Elvis was alive today, he would be 90 years old. Yeah. Yeah, we got there just 2 days after the anniversary of his death. Thank goodness we weren't there for the anniversary of his death because it would have been... It was a madhouse, and the crowds would have been insane. It's a cold Christmas when you die on the toilet. How shitty. We did go to the room that Elvis was in, the last room he was in. It's like a living room, rec room, and there's a little piano. Apparently, the story is he was playing piano, got up. He said he was going to go rest. He went upstairs, laid on the bed, and died. We were in that room. He dials the phone like he reads comments. San Diego is mild weather year-round. I just heard the news, says Fremder, that a plane had to dump fuel for some sort of emergency in California. Don't get me wrong, but isn't that the opposite of what should be done if everything's already on fire? 500 pictures, that's a lot of film. Yeah, right. Wishing everyone a happy day. You too, Ann. Tony still looks like he needs a vacation. Sorry, it's just my face, man. Mike Kaplan should get a piercing. I'm not reading that. The one by the piano. I don't see a picture by the piano, Ann. No. Is that by a piano? Oh, okay. This picture of Bob Buchmann and Billy and the picture of Billy in the background is him by the piano? Maybe that's the picture she's talking about? I don't know. I have no idea. Everybody have a great day. Good to be back. Good to see you all. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Once again, Peter will be on in a half hour. And then, Primal Scream with Nick Greystone tonight at 8 o'clock. And then Coffee with the Dog tomorrow at 9. Me, Rosie, and Tom Galati tomorrow at 11. Tomorrow night, Don Sill with Donversations is on. So hang on and hang out at Gov's Comedy Club podcast. We're happy to be back. Don't forget, Governor's Comedy Clubs. The club is still closed. On Friday, the Long Island Laugh-Off continues, but it's being held at the Belmore Theater, which is where my son works. Rosie, Eric Half, Tom Galati, they're in the Giggle Room tomorrow night. James Mattern is at McGuire's tomorrow night. James Mattern, he's been on this show. He is fantastic. Go see him. But tomorrow night at the Brokerage in Belmore, headlining the Brokerage in Belmore, Fat J, ladies and gentlemen. Fat J is headlining the Brokerage in Belmore. That's fantastic. Saturday at the Brokerage, Olga Nama's birthday show. That'll be fun. In the Giggle Room, you got Mike Keegan, Jeff Bosey, and some other comedians. Our pals. Yep, they're there at the Giggle Room. James Mattern is at McGuire's again on Saturday. McGuire's out in Bohemia. So go to govs.com, govs.com. Go see a lot of great shows. And don't forget Knock 'em Dead Comedy. We got a lot of great shows as well, too. We got some shows in the fall. Come see us, including a date at McGuire's in Bohemia, December 6th, I do believe. Oh, no, December 13th. December 6th, me and Don got something brewing in the Giggle Room. We're going to make the announcement soon. But Don and I do have brewing in the Giggle Room October 4th. Gov's Comedy Club Podcast presents Tony Walker and Friends. Looking forward to this show. It's going to be a fun one. Joe Pacino. Alec Quinn, Mike Pachetti, Andrew Fremder, Ali Cam, who was on this show once years ago. She's a great actress, singer, comedian. She's going to do 5 minutes. Our pal Danny Keene. Actually, you know what? I haven't even told Don any of this yet. Sorry, Don. But yeah, I'm giving Ali Cam 5 minutes. We have, I forget their names. We had them on one of our other shows. These twin brothers from Staten Island. They're great. They're also going to be on the show. And I'm also giving 5 minutes. You guys have seen Danny Keene on this show several times. He's great. Great musician, but he's also a very funny guy. I've been telling him for years he's got to do stand-up. He's going to do 5 minutes. First time he's ever doing stand-up. He's going to do 5 minutes at this show. So it's going to be a great show. So again, govs.com, knockemdeadcomedy.com. All right, I got to get out of here and get ready for Peter. Everybody enjoy the rest of your day. And yes, I am playing the music. That's what happens. All right. Everybody enjoy the rest of your day.